This is a Chuki production.
Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another GT Sport drift setup video. This time round it's going to be another new one from update 1.34. It's actually the McLaren F1 GTR, and this thing is an absolute beast. So far this has to be one of my favourite updates, certainly from a drifting perspective. Of the three cars that I've done, I've absolutely loved every single one of them. I've still got two left to work on, but I've got high hopes for both of those as well. So we'll have to see how those go. A bit like the Supra from the last video, this takes very little in the way of actually adjusting it. It's got plenty of power straight out the bag, and it just seems to work so well just as it is. I've tweaked here and there, obviously, made it feel a little bit more comfortable for myself. And I am using Comfort hard tyres this time round, but this build does work equally well with mediums or hard, depending on how you like to drift. As I always say, use this setup as a bit of a base for yourself. It's what's working well for me, but you may want to tweak it here and there for yourself just to get it feeling really comfortable. If this is the first time you've come to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. I am bringing videos like this out all the time, and it's great to see the channel growing. What I'll do now is take you straight over to the settings, and I'll explain a little bit more. So as I said with this McLaren, there isn't a great deal to do here. Certainly from a mileage points point of view, you get off completely scot-free. You don't have to spend a single point. What I have done is play around with these the power ratio, certainly on the level 1 there. I've taken it all the way up to 109%, and I actually brought it back down to 100, and I think the 600 brake horsepower just works really well with this car. With the weight reduction, again, there's no real point in playing with it, because the more you pay, ultimately all you can do is put the weight up. So just leave that where it is. I've actually left the weight all the way down to the bottom there at 100. Traction control I've set to 0. Like I say, for this build I've got Comfort hards, both front and rear, but honestly it works really well with mediums as well. So just decide what works best for you. I just find certainly for the longer corners the hard's a bit better, otherwise you end up sort of cutting in towards the centre of the, or coming into the inside of the corner every time. So yeah, hards work better for me, but I know each and every one of you is different out there, so just play. Brake balance I've left the same at 0. Ride height with this one, as always, just dropped all the way down to the bottom, so 50 on the front and 60 on the rear. The frequency is exactly where it came, which is 3 and 3. Anti-roll bars I believe I've left the same as well, at 7 on the front and 4 on the rear. Compression and rebound are set to 55 for the compression, both front and rear, and rebound is 85 both front and rear. Camber angle on the front is set to 3, and on the rear it's 2. And the toe angle I have played around with a little bit here, so the front is set out to 0.35 and the rear is in 0.15. In terms of downforce, as you'd expect from a drift build, I've taken that all the way down to the bottom. We don't want any downforce getting in the way of the slides. And with the differential, I've left it exactly as it is. There doesn't seem to be any need to change it. You may want to change the initial torque a little bit, but it is completely up to you. I found, again, it works just fine like this. And with the transmission, I've just set it to fully customised there, set the max speed to 180, and everything else I've left exactly as it was. I think you're going to absolutely love this build, but I would like to hear your thoughts on it down in the comment section. And also, while we're talking about that, which car would you like me to do next in terms of a drift setup? I've got the SLR or the Pagani, obviously. So yeah, vote down below which one you want to see next. What I'm going to do now is just leave you with a little bit more footage of me messing around with the McLaren. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you all on the next one.
Production.